Hi everyone, and welcome to Apple Picking Part 1. Today we're going to talk about formatting. We're going to insert some columns. We're also going to figure out totals, as well as figure out some averages. So here's my Apple Picking data, Part 1. Yours should look very similar to this. If you're wondering what we're looking for, the list is right here in rows 17 through 21. So as you can see right now, our formatting is less than to be desired, meaning there's some things we need to fix before we move on. So I want to make my apple farms a little bit larger, that column. And to do that, I'm first going to drag A and B over and make it bigger. And looks like I need to make it a little bit longer or wider so that way everything fits in. So that looks good. Next, I want to see the total for apples of each farm. I want to wrap that text so that way it doesn't extend into columns F and G. It just stays in column F. So right now you can see it goes over to G and I want it just to be an F. So to do that, I go to Format, I go to Text Wrapping, and I say Wrap. And that's going to keep it inside of column F, just in that F4. So that looks good. So first things first, now that I have everything looking kind of at least so that I can see all the information, I now want to take a look at finding the totals. So to find the totals, I'm finding the total for Crane's Orchard, all the apples from week 1, 2, 3, and 4. To do that, I'm going to hit equals, and I can type in sum, and I can use an open parenthesis, and I can highlight 956, 1067, 1784, and 1045. So all the numbers from weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you notice it gives me here B5 through E5. So I'm going from B5, C5, D5 to E5. And I can hit enter and it gives me the total. I can do the same thing for the next. Open parenthesis, and I'm going to highlight week 1, 2, 3, and 4 just for Robinette Farms. Hit enter, and now I have the total. As you know before, once we have a pattern, so here I have a pattern meaning the sum of that entire row from B to E, I can pull this blue little square down right here, drag it all the way down to be right up there. And now it gives me the total for each farm. Perfect. Next, I want to find the average for each week. So I want to find the average for week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. So I come here, and let me make my screen a little bit bigger so you can see. So week 1, I am going to find the average. And to do that, I use equals, average, and it does pick up, but I can also type it in average, opening parenthesis, and I can highlight that whole week. And I'm just going from B5 to B8. Hit enter, and it should give me the average. Same thing for the next week, equals average, parenthesis, opening parenthesis, that'd be shift 9, click on week, and go all the way down. Oops, and look, it didn't work, so I gotta do it again. So I need to do equals average again. Sometimes it doesn't work, or sometimes you click on the wrong thing too many times, and it's kind of crazy that way. So now I'm gonna put equals average. I click on all those numbers, and again it's C5 through C8, so if you're not sure, enter, and it gives me the average. And I am going to double check this. Yep. See, I noticed that it's 234, and that doesn't seem like the right average. So sometimes double checking your work does count. So it looks like I only have the average for B8, which is that last number. So again, I'm going to redo this equals average. Always check your work or your numbers. If they don't make sense, double check. Sometimes my mouse doesn't always click right, or I don't always click my mouse right. So enter. There we go. So now that I have a pattern, see where I'm doing C5 through C8, and week 3 will be D5 through D8. Week 4 will be E5 through E8. I have a pattern, so I can click on that blue square and drag it all the way across just for that. And now I'm going to have my average. Now, I can keep the average as a decimal point. That's fine for this one. And then I am going to go overall average. So overall average means everything for all week 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's all of it, not just for each week. So I do an equals average, parenthesis, shift 9, and I'm going to highlight everything. So week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, all the way down for all of the farms. So it's going to be B5 through E8, hit enter, and it should give me an average there. That is all really what we're doing for today, at least for part 1. It looks like I do want to do a few things. I might want to do some more formatting. If you noticed in the assignment, it does say, I'm going to scroll all the way down, that at the end, we want it to look something similar to this picture right here. So it looks like I have to make my font a little bit bigger, make this a little bit bolder, make my titles, Apple Farms, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and totals, to be bold. And I'm also looking at the assignment. It says I also need to create averages. So let's first do that next. Let's do the averages for apples for each farm. Okay, so now I have the totals here. Doesn't look like I have enough columns. So I'm going to go to total apples here, and I'm going to insert a column to the left of this column F. So I'm going to go to insert, column to the left, and it's going to basically take total apples, put it to G, and create a new column for the average. So I'm going to type in average apples for each farm. And then again, you'll notice I just want to make sure everything looks right. It's wrapped. Awesome. And I'm going to find the average for each farm. So I'm going to find the average for basically each week, or for all 4 weeks for just Crane's Orchard. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to find the average for Robinette's farm. So it's like adding all of the weeks up and dividing by 4, because that's 4 weeks. So equals average, opening paren. Oops, I spelled average wrong. It's average. And I'm going to highlight just for the week. So what it's doing, it's going to be adding all the apples up for weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4 and dividing it by 4, but it does that in this calculation. Hit enter. And then I'm going to do the same thing for Robinette's, equals average. Parenthesis. Highlight week 1, 2, 3, and 4 just for Robinette's. Hit enter. And now that I have a pattern, I can just, I can click on that square, click on that blue little square at the bottom right, and drag, and there we go. And now I'm going to check my work to see if it looks similar to this picture that Miss Bauman's provided, and it's very close. My numbers look about the same. I did my calculations, but it looks like I still have to make this font or this text a little bit bigger, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to highlight apples, and I'm going to highlight week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, average apples for each farm, and total apples, and I'm going to make it bigger. You can center it, or you can center it or keep it like that. I think it looks like that. So that looks good. And then I'm going to make this apple picking a little bit bigger. I'm going to make it a font. Let's make it 18 maybe, and bold. And I'm going to make sales for fall apple picking bold. There. And then I think the only thing else I have to do is average for each week. Make that bold and make that bold. So again, I'm double checking my work to the picture below. And I'm checking to make sure I've included now, or I've inserted a average apples for each farm. I have the totals for each farm, and I have the average for each week and the overall average for all 4 weeks right here. And that concludes part 1. Be sure to get a shareable link. So again, to get a shareable link, you hit share. Get a shareable link, make sure it's can view, or probably better yet, can edit or can comment. So I can do that right now. Can edit, copy link, and then go back to the assignment and submit this in the submit area. Oops. Submit this in the submit area over here.